Welcome back to Octane Tutorials. Today we'll be seeing how do we publish a DSR for our demands which are in SIT and UAT gate. These DSRs are nothing but the status reporting for the test case execution and defects opened in the particular demand in the SIT and UAT phase. So let us log into the tool. So once we are in the tool, let us go to our quality module. So in the previous videos, we have seen a few things regarding the test quality module, where we've seen how to upload a test case, how to execute a test case, and how to raise a defect. So now this step where we are adding the DSR, this will come in between your uploading of the test cases and execution of the test cases. So once you've uploaded your test cases, you need to come here, select a new test suite. Okay, so test suite is nothing but a set of test cases for the particular demand. You'll be grouping them into this one particular test suite. So click on the new test suite. These are certain fields that will come up which are mandatory for a new test suite to be created. So these fields are currently that have come up are based on the new test suite creation. Once you make your demand in progress, there are certain more fields that will become visible to you. So that we'll see along the course of this video. So now to explain you a few fields that are mandatory when you're creating a new test suite are the name. So the name of this test suite should be unique because as we are aware that all the VI partners and UAT testers are testing within the same area. So we need to have certain unique identifier in the name where you can identify that this is a test case done by a particular partner or a particular UAT team. So maybe you can write demand number underscore application underscore SIT UAT or something which is identifiable for a person who's even reviewing this test suite and for you as a tester when you are creating this test suite. The next field, as we've seen in other forms as well, portfolio and team. So you would select the team for the application that you're testing. Okay, so for let's see, we take it as IBM Analytics. Then we fill in the demand number. So demand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next is the application module. So now here we've been observing as the admin team that people are selecting the portfolios here as well. Please do not select the portfolios in this. We need to select only the applications. When we select these applications, they get populated in the application module field. We do not want the portfolios to be populated here. Portfolio is already getting captured in this particular field, which is portfolio team. So hence request everyone to just select an application here. Next is the test status. So when you're creating an entry, this was ideally created when you're uploading a test case. So that would be a to be started status. So here there are a few custom statuses for SIT and UAT. So based on the role that you are assigned, suppose you are assigned a SIT role, you will be getting a list of SIT statuses. And if you are assigned a UAT role, you'll be getting the list of UAT statuses. Next is your plan start date and plan end date. So these are your project timelines for the. Next, you have to fill in your partner PM and VIL PM details, and then the short demand description. Next is a field for test data pool. So as you are aware, we've initiated a new process for test data pool, which is governed by Sumant Raje from VI. So here, if you're using the test data from the pool, you can select yes. And if you do not plan to use any test data from the pool, existing pool, you can select NA. And if you're selecting yes here, you need to estimate an hours that you the number of hours you're going to spend in the test data provisioning. So whatever hours, suppose you are taking 2 hours, 3 hours, or whatever be the estimate for the particular demand for provisioning this particular test data. That needs to be filled in here. So once we're done with this, we can click on add and this particular test suite will get added in your list of demands. Now, so now we come to the screen wherein we have to see how do we view our DSRs. So if you look at this favorites icon here, and if you click on this, and you can go to load manage. Okay, here you can go to public favorites and you will see this DSR favorites that have been created here. Okay, so there's an SIT DSR and there's a UAT DSR. So according to your team, you can select the particular favorite and just say load. So once you load this particular favorite, your columns and your fields here get customized according to the DSR view. So you'll be able to see this in this particular form. So now let us have a look at what all fields become mandatory when this particular test suite is in progress. So let us have a look at a demo suite that has been created. So when you open a suite, comes to this particular tab, which is tests. So as I told you in the start of the video, that this step of creating a test suite comes in between of your test case upload and test case execution. So once you have uploaded the test cases in the Octane, what you need to do is you need to create the test suite, come to the test tab, and click on add existing tests. So once you add existing tests, here you fill in your filters. So for instance, I've taken author as myself. And here further you can add your demand number as a filter as well. You can click on add, say demand number, and enter the particular demand number for which you've created this test suite. So doing that will filter out the only test cases uploaded for that particular demand. After that, you can just select all of the test cases. Okay, you just click on shift and down arrow and select all the applicable test cases, and then you say add. So once you click on add, see this cases that we've already added, I have got set up here. So now when you will execute this, you will need to execute them from the particular suite itself and not through the test cases. So this is like change in execution where you will run the suite instead of running the individual test cases. Rest all execution will remain same. The only difference here is you will run the suite here. And as per a scenario, if you have completed running, say, 3 test cases in the first run, what you can do is next time when you're running the suite again, you can turn this test cases off like this. So once you turn off these test cases and you continue the suite run that you left off after executing 3 test cases, it will start executing from the 4th test case. So that is one additional step in execution that has changed, wherein we are not running the individual test cases, but we will be running it through the suite. Okay, so now let's get back to our DSR. If you see this test DSR entry is in progress. So these many more fields have become applicable for filling this up for our daily status reporting. So portfolio and team we have seen, demand number we have seen, application module we have seen, test status also is there. Now RAG. So what is RAG? RAG is your red, amber, green status of a project. By default, all the projects will be marked green. But if you notice there are any delays or any project dependencies that are impacting your timelines planned for this particular demand, you can change the status to red or amber. And once you do the status change for red to amber with concurrence from your VI PM and partner PM, you also have to update the comments that why a particular demand has been marked red or amber. So that is mandatory here. So if you're marking any demand red or amber, you need to add the additional comments here for easy tracking. Demand description also we have seen. Plan start date, plan end date is discussed already. So once you mark this test status as in progress, the actual start date will get auto-populated. Similarly, when you mark it complete, the actual end date will get auto-populated. So all we need to take care is that we are changing the statuses on timely manner. Next field is automation report URL. So this is applicable for where there is automation in the application for the regression suite or the functional suite. Next is the total test case count. Again, this is auto-populated by the number of test cases you add in your tests tab. The count of that particular test cases will get added here. Now the rest of the fields here are all manual. So total test cases passed. So this is something that you need to update on daily basis in an incremental way. So for instance, you have a total of 8 test cases and today you execute one. So in the end of the day, you'll update 1 here. And tomorrow, if you're executing 3 more, you will update this as 4. So it's an incremental update that you need to keep on doing until the end life cycle. Next is your regression test count. So regression test count, you have to mention the number of test cases that are of regression type in your test suite. And if the regression test count is 0, the reason for having 0 regression count needs to be populated here. So this is a mandatory field wherein you need to ensure that you are doing regression for all the demands. And if there is any deviation from that, you need to mention the reason why the regression has not been performed for a particular demand. So next, if you have certain number of regression test counts, then yes, you need to segregate them into manual and automation. So if you have 5 regression test counts in your suite, you need to mention if how many of the 5 are manual and how many are automation. Okay. The next field is your negative test cases. So you need to mention the count of your negative test cases in this particular field. Defect count. So now total defect count will have your total defects identified in the life cycle of this demand for the testing. So if we have 5 defects that were identified, we have to write the total count here. And this open defect will again be incremental. So suppose you have a timeline of 5 days, and on the first day you have identified 5 defects. And by the 4th day, if you have only 1 defect open, you need to keep updating this on daily basis and keep it as 1 and track it accordingly. But we need to also ensure that once we are marking the demand as complete, this total open defect count should be 0 in the system. So if there's any delay from the dev team, you need to follow up and get those defects closed in the system before the demand you're marking it as closed in Octane. And when you're closing this number should automatically be updated as 0. Next is your test data pool. So as explained earlier, this is through if you're getting data from the test data pool, which is existing, then you need to select yes here. And once you select yes here, you have to enter your planned hours for test data provisioning, the actual hours spent for test data provisioning. And one thumb rule here which we need to follow is if their actual test data hours exceeds more than 50% of planned hours, you need to update your comments here that why there was so much effort spent on your test data provisioning. So this is the end-to-end extensive list of DSR fields that are applicable. The view for SIT and UAT will be slightly different because all these fields will not be applicable for UAT. There will be lesser number of fields applicable for UAT phase compared to the SIT. So this is how we will be updating our DSR, and this should be a daily activity because as we know that we will be testing demands throughout the month, so this needs to be done every day, and we need to update this in such a way that anytime anybody who's reviewing it always gets the current status, and if not the current status, at least the current status as of last day. So it should be a practice wherein before you're closing your work for the day, you need to update the DSR in the Octane tool and update your lead that your particular demand statuses have been updated. The same DSR is going to get published through email as well, wherein the URL for this particular DSR will be shared in the mail body. So that's it for this video. We've seen how do we create a DSR, how do we execute test cases through test suite. So which should be helpful to all of us for tracking the status of our SIT and UAT demands. Thank you.